guys, welcome back to Big Boy Builds. And in this episode, this video, what we're gonna do is actually go ahead and finish this Gundam. What we're gonna do is first, we're gonna focus in on cleaning up some of these small areas where we cut the pieces and there is, you know, some visible connecting where the sprues were and it's not that clean. One of the first things you wanna do is you wanna disassemble some of the pieces back again, just so that they're easier to handle and easier to move around. You could pull off the head. We're also going to detach the leg pieces. And these we could leave them as just the legs by themselves, just because we could work around the areas that we need. I don't think we need to separate it anymore. We're gonna do a couple things. First, we're gonna do a black wash just to get some of that black paint in those recesses. We're gonna wipe most of that away. And what we do with that is that the black will stay in the crevices and in the little corners and the parts that are recessed. And there are parts that we're gonna go up on top and we're gonna accentuate a bit more with some silver, just to get almost like if there was scratches, like it was been battled and been, you know, been in the heat of battle, and you get some of those kind of nice weathered kind of looks for them. So let's begin. Let's finish off by taking off the arms here. Shoulder pieces first. This piece here, you can see where the two pieces joined and there is a bit of plastic, a bit of where it was cut from the sprue, and so there's a little highlight there. And what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna take a sanding stick or a file, in this case it's a file, and you can see that I'm going to just lightly go in and just sand that piece down, just bring it down so it is brought down to the other surface that is there. I'm just reducing it lightly. Okay, and I think I'm about here where I'm starting to see that I'm getting some of that surface and I'm sanding on the same plane. I ran out of sanding sticks, so I'm gonna use a nail buffer. And these will work just as well. Again, I'm going for a quick and dirty look, so I don't need it to be completely pristine, but I wanna lower it down. You see these have different grades. This is side 1, side 2, side 3, and side 4. And this one I kind of stole from my wife. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use the side 1, which is the rougher side, and I'm going to sand that down as well. And I'm gonna bring that just to smooth out the plastic. And this is what would be like an 800 on a sandpaper. It's really, you can't tell that it even sands, but once you start going at the piece and you stop, you see all the little dust that it's coming and it's collecting and it's bringing off. It's because it's smoothing that part down. And it's fairly straightforward. All you have to do is go with side 1 until you get that kind of smooth and you no longer feel the bump. Then you could go to side 2, which I guess would be almost about 1,000 grit sandpaper. And then you can see that you're removing those fine scratches that you just introduced from the other sanding part. From side 1, you could see there. And you could go at it a little bit more. This is a little bit uneven where the pieces joined, but again, I'm not too concerned with that as I'm going for a kind of rough look. Then I would go with side 3, and I'd just buff it out. Just remove any fine little scratches. And then this last one is actually optional because it is a shine nail. And I just want to show you how you can get this finish when done right. Show you that you can get it back to its shiny, almost like it was just injected piece of plastic. It looks like the rest. Just there you can start seeing where you get some of that shine back and there's no scratches anymore on that piece. So I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm just gonna do that on the legs on a couple of areas where I see that I still just want to remove a little bit of the sprue, just make it a little bit smoother. Now just go ahead and make sure all your pieces are cleaned and you've removed all the dust from them so that the paint will stick. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna mix up the paint. Now for the black wash, I'm just gonna use a matte acrylic paint. This is a fast drying, economical. This is not one of the high-end paints. Now I particularly like the matte finish of the black paint, just because it gives it a nice even tone and you don't see a lot of brush marks in it. You're gonna go ahead also and we're going to add a little bit of water. We're gonna thin it down. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that the paint continues to be broken down, and when you push it up against the side, you shouldn't see any blotches. Up on the side of this, the cup here, you should see that it is no longer any clumps. It is more of a milky black liquid is what you wanna achieve. And once the paint's all mixed up, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start just applying it liberally to all the pieces. Now I wanna make sure I focus in a lot of where those panel lines are and general parts where they intersect and they meet each other. because I'm going to make sure that all those areas are covered, and then I'm going to start pulling back and wiping some of that away. And I'll do several washes. This is just called a simple black wash. And so I'm going to make sure everything in there gets a nice heavy coat. And I get some of these pieces. Just make sure all those little areas are covered. Now once you have it covered, you're gonna get like a piece of paper towel, and you're gonna start wiping down just the highlights, and you're gonna see that you're leaving behind all those areas where the recesses and all those panel lines are. In there, you wanna go ahead and you want to just wipe away what you don't like, and you start leaving some of the black panel lines. You see these we're gonna have to go back in again and fill, but you're starting to see a lot more detail that wasn't so visible before. So that's the idea of this. You're just gonna go ahead with the black wash again on the areas you wanna re-highlight a bit. And then if there's areas you don't like, if there's areas you put too much paint and it's dry, we could go back in with a Q-tip and start pulling away some of that part of that paint. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now with a Q-tip and not do it with the paper towel, just so I can be more controlled in what I'm removing away. And I'm gonna start pulling on those highlight areas, and I wanna leave where the panel lines are. I wanna be more controlled as to how much paint I'm pulling away. I definitely have a lot more control with the Q-tip. Now areas that are gonna stay pretty dark are here, around here, like this ankle area. I wanna leave it with a lot of paint, and where these two surfaces meet, you'll see there that I'm leaving it pretty dark. That's naturally where dirt will accumulate and grime will just be there, you know, naturally. And I wanna mimic that a bit so it looks a little more realistic. Now, to see some of the progress that we've made, I'm gonna pull up the other leg that is not painted yet, and you're gonna see the difference between the two. If I pull up this one, you're gonna see that it is a very bright, very flat piece of plastic versus this one has just been painted. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna show you all around the difference between the two. Yeah, I think you're starting to see how this is kind of coming together. Now I'm just gonna do the other pieces. I'm gonna do the arms, I'm gonna do the torso and the head, and this is gonna be a progression. I'm gonna do all the black washes, and you're gonna see at the end, I'm gonna assemble it, and then we're gonna come back and we're actually gonna do the silver highlights on everything else. Alrighty, so now that we have the top and the torso done, we just check it one more time for all angles, seeing that there's no bright spots or just bare plastic to give it its original other color. And we should be good with this area. I'm just gonna finish up the legs, we're gonna assemble it together, and then we're gonna just do the highlights. Now that we have the pieces back together, everything's starting to look great and uniform. The last thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna give those silver highlight, those scratches. For that, I'm gonna use a silver paint pen. Now with this, I'm not gonna go directly on this. If it was a larger model, I might be able to get away with it. But for what I'm gonna do is, I'm actually gonna get the pen and I'm going to dab some paint onto a piece of cardboard here. Okay, now that I have a little bit of paint here, I'm gonna grab a really, really thin brush and I'm just gonna dry brush. I'm gonna get the paint on the little tips of that brush and just give some of these highlights in certain areas. Again, I'm gonna be very careful not to overpower and make this look too overdone, this effect overdone. So see you at the end once we're done here, and then we'll just give some final notes. Alright guys, so this finishes the build. As you can see, I've already gone in and just added all the rest of the highlights, the little silver highlights all around the body. Just in the high points, things that just like the rocket boosters back here, and areas that would normally have a little bit more. Look at the feet, I gave it some kind of scratches on the bottom. And that basically concludes the build. And that concludes the paint. Guys, thank you for watching. I want you to subscribe to my channel down below. Leave any comments, any likes if you liked the video. Any suggestions of things that I can do or videos that you would like to see. I would definitely appreciate your feedback. Anything that can help us make the channel better is truly greatly appreciated. Hope you enjoyed the video, like my other videos, and stay tuned and subscribe so when more videos come online, you get the notification. Until next time.